Ishwarama's resplendent sun. It's the start of a bright new day. Time to rise, time to shine, Lord divine. Time to lead us along life's way. Awake, Lord of Buddha party. Awake, O Lord, over all mankind. Awake, O Lord of compassion. That the world good fortune may find.
Sairam, brothers and sisters. That's very good. This afternoon, we are talking on a different subject from probably what some of us have been expecting. Before closing this morning, I gave you a little bit of hints on certain things that Bhagwan wanted from us. That is, if you are expecting something from your father, what are you going to give to your father in return? Now we'll start this program, this particular one, by explaining to ourselves, number one, the practical aspect of Baba. That is, everybody knows who or what is a father to you, but do we really accept him as that father? That is number one. Number two, what Swami wants from us, if I can recollect, probably in 1991, summer, just before the summer calls in Whitefield. He called us, well, the officers' meeting in his room, in the sitting room in Whitefield. He asked us several questions, but one touchy one was that you should tell me, he was asking us, the difference between Christ's devotees, Krishna's devotee, and yourself. How can they differentiate you from them? We were not aware what Swami was about. Then he came back and told us, Christ's devotee, they didn't see Christ anymore, but they still believe in Christ. Krishna's devotee, they didn't see Krishna, they still believe in Krishna. Now you still have me here. Do you believe in me? Have you been making use of me? This was in 1991, somewhere in May. He was asking we, not the devotees, officers. In the final analysis, Swami told us that they go to centers and tell them not to worship Swami anymore, not to be devotees of Swami anymore, but devotees of Swami's teachings. Devotees of Swami's teachings. Because there is a misconception about you want to worship Swami, you want to worship Swami, you love Swami. But what Swami says you should do you love that? Is it so good to you, or you just take which one that is good and you keep the rest? How do you do it? So that occasion, we were very, very surprised. We didn't know what to do, but this is an instruction, so go out and tell devotees. Well, it's not easy to go around to devotees and say, don't love Swami. Again, we just have to find a way of putting it across that we have to remind the centers, the devotees, that teachings of Swami, they are very, very important. That was one of the reasons why I mentioned this morning that lots of devotees, they have so many books, they buy so many books, and they forget about the books that touches on what Swami said himself. You don't buy books, read books about what the Lord says, you are buying books written by others. What is the significance of that? You are only comparing, listening to my own experiences or others' experiences. The Lord you are with, that you are talking about, you are worshiping, you believe in, what he says you don't even know. Therefore, we insisted that we have to go back to the centers and explain to them that the teachings, once you do the teachings, you are with Swami. We know that some of the teachings are very, very difficult. But again, we're trying to work out how easy we could approach, we could give this to devotees. Number one, let me go back on explaining Satya Sai Baba as the concept of an avatar and the concept of the human aspect. That is, whether you like it or not, that is everybody here. Swami brings you here himself. If you find yourself in the center or in any occasion of Satya Sai organization, you didn't come through your own violation, but through Swami's will. There might be some instruments used to bring you here through friends, brothers, sisters, or whatever, but he wanted you here. That is why he brought you here. Some of us might feel that I brought these devotees here through my influence. They are here because of me. No. No. None of us has been with Swami because of your own influence. No. He wills you coming to him. You might have to come through certain postal system, through human beings and so on, but you are here through his will. Swami, as our father, brother, or whatever you call him to yourself, will always remain this. That is his own human aspect of our communication to the Lord. The other aspect, which is the superhuman. Now, how do you rate yourself to be in that group of elevating yourself to that level that you can fraternize with the Lord at that level? When I was talking this morning, I mentioned a few things that probably some people were happy about. Oh, you are lucky, this happened, that happened. Again, how do you achieve this? Some says, oh, your past life, your future life, your this. I mentioned about determination. Again, discipline. Number two, I told you it has not been very easy. The closer you are to Swami, the hotter the place is. Are you ready to follow his teachings to the letter? If you are not ready to do that, don't go so close. That is my advice. Don't go so close. Stay where you are. But where you are, how are you going to better yourself? Number one, the Lord started the mission with singing, which will eventually turn out to be what we regarded as the most favorite part of our of our activities. Singing means singing bhajans, singing songs, devotional singing. After singing, the Lord went, the next mission was the training of the children, which in the Western world we regarded as the Sunday school, which they teach in the churches. And in the Indian system, we regarded that as Bal Vikas classes, getting our children to follow our ways of going through the Lord's path. After leaving the children, putting your family into the system, the Lord went further that he has to help the people within the neighborhood, not only singing to them again. If you are singing during Naga Sankirtan in the morning or doing bhajans, when people see you outside, how are they going to see the fraction of divinity in you. Then the Lord's mission went further to the essence of giving service to the people within the village. Years later, the Lord decided that both that Balvikas as well as service should be integrated into not only the Indian system, especially to the foreigners coming to the organization, coming to see Swami Buddhapati. So years later, we have what we call the education in human values, so that non-devotees as well can be involved into the training of both children and adults alike. Today, in most of the centers, the first program initiated by Swami, which is the singing, is our favorite and probably the one we all like so far. Today, if we decide to sing bhajan from here, from this moment till tomorrow, I'm sure 90% of us, we are ready to go ahead with that songs. But if we decide to leave this place, go back to that kitchen to do service, to clean up there, I'm very sure we're not going to have 25% of us going there to do that service. And if the Lord decides to move from one step to the next step, to the next step, to where the stage, the organization is today, why are you not ready to follow all those steps? Why? Because when some people are thinking of, how do I go nearer to the Lord? Certain things have been given to you by the Lord. Are you really following them? Are you really doing them? When the singing was the predominant part of the activities, which is part of the spiritual wing of the organization, Swami always says that wherever the 2 or 3 people sit down to sing the glory in my name, I manifest myself there. At the same time, when he started doing the service, he told us that the hands that helped are holier than the mouth that prays. Why is it difficult for us to go into those spaces with him? Why? Because the practical aspect of going to the Lord, he's not asking us to go into villages or to go into any shrine to go and do all these rituals or pujas to go to him. No. Very, very, very simple methods, which these we have not been able to absorb. If you don't absorb that, how do you want him to come nearer to us? Therefore, we should examine ourselves and look at, number one, if the Lord decides to come to the whole world with a program, that is, we always say love, peace, right conduct, non-violence, and most of the teachers, they know the meaning in and out through the dictionary, whatever it means, they know that. But are we really practicing them? Do we really love everybody as equal? We should ask these questions from ourselves. If we are not ready to observe these things strictly, we cannot go so close. If we are lucky by any chance it draws us nearer, how do you want to retain that nearness to the Lord? The Lord is so pure. He doesn't like anything dirty. He doesn't like, you have to be truthful to be nearer to the Lord. Certain things you can make mistakes, but not in everyday affair. Therefore, when he has the opportunity to bring you nearer, how do you want to retain your nearness to the Lord? Are we ready to be pure in our hearts? Are we ready to be pure in our deeds? I'm asking these questions. Maybe you're just going to jot down these points, because all these points, they look so little, but we should ask ourselves, are we ready to go by all these points? Without the purity of your heart, your body, and your thoughts, it's like a waste of time. We are very, very privileged, some of us, to dream, sleep, and have Swami talking to us, imagination, like Islop said yesterday. Because some of us, We cannot link up with Swami, will never link up with us, because by the time our body, everything we do is things that even our own close friends cannot link up with us, not to talk of divinity. If we create a sort of a clean environment for a saint, an holy person to come, he will come. But if the environment is not clean enough, he's not going to come. So are we really prepared to make the environment clean? I've had several lectures here telling us the body is the temple. Is that temple clean enough? We do certain things from Swami's saying that pleases us. The one that doesn't please us, we will keep it around the corner. Swami, please forgive me. If we want Swami to be with us here, we're ready to pray to Swami. Swami, I'm here, please help me. The next time we pray that he is in Puttapati. So we have two types of position for Swami. If you need him quickly, he's here, he will come and assist you. But the other aspect you want to visualize is in Puttapati. So where do we stand? Which one are we going to take? The one that is with us or the one that stays there permanently? So what we have to do, number one, is to see the Lord as our father and mother. That you cannot change. He brought you into his fold, and he has his reason for bringing you into his fold. He will always remain your father and mother. Let me explain that in this form. As we are all here, nobody can say to you, unless you do something very, very bad, that this lady, you are no more a devotee of Swami. Nobody can say that to you. The Sai organization, you don't have to be in the organization to become Swami's devotee. No. To be a devotee of Swami is not a pre-qualification that you must be a member of the Sai organization. No. So it still remains your father and your mother or your brother, whatever you call him. Because we have lots and lots of devotees who are not members of this organization because they cannot stick a lot of politics and so on and so forth. So you regard Swami first as your father and mother, or whatever you think he is to you. That is like your normal father, paternal one. That is your birthright. Nobody can take that away from you, but if you are foolish, they might toss you around. But that, nobody should take away from you. But if you now decide that you're going to be in the organization, that is a separate issue entirely. Organization has its own rules, approved by the Lord, the name approved by the Lord. Therefore, you want to follow the rules. And when we talk about the rules, we don't have fixed rules. All these are flexible rules because they are based on Swami's teachings. Swami's teachings doesn't say that if I hurt you, you should take me to court. Or if this is done, you have to take a revenge. No. Flexible. So if you decide to be part of the system, then you have to follow the rules. Then the teaching comes. These teachings, they are not difficult. I've been explaining some of them, what you are supposed to do. One, are you ready to make yourself somebody who will prepare to pray daily? They're going to give you certain cards. This is this type of card this evening before you get out from this place. These I had the privilege of getting from Swami, this picture in particular, 2 years ago. And the words here are just what Swami wants from any devotee, whether part of the organization or non-devotees, non-member of the organization. That's all. Here it says tenfold path to divinity. That's all he requires from us. And I'm sure most of us, we have not been able to conform to this. When you get it today, go into your room and check which of them do I do properly. You will see that we have not been able to conform to this. The second one is the charter. That is to be a member of the organization. That is the 9-point code of conduct, given by the Lord. These two are given by Swami. Not by us, not by the organization or the central office or anybody, by Swami. That is all he requires from us. And they are very, very simple things. But I can tell you, it's not easy to do. These have been our problems from getting close to the Lord. When they give it to you tonight, go home, go into your camps and read through which one, tick which one you've been able to go through. You will see where you have certain problems. He showed his fingers here, 10. All I want from you is these 10 principles. They are not difficult. Number 1, he says, love and serve the motherland. Do not hate or hurt the motherland of others. I don't think it's difficult, but unfortunately we do this regularly. Number 2, honor every religion. Each is a pathway to the one God. Number 3, love all men without distinction. Know that mankind is a single community. There shouldn't be difference between men and women, male and we are all the same. From the same Adam and Eve. At least most of us, we read history to that extent to believe that the first creators of Adam and Eve, they were the first male and female that we all followed. Now, whether you have black color, green color, whatever color, you are still from this root. So why is it difficult for us to absorb ourselves to be our brother's keepers? Number 4, keep your home and its environs clean. It will ensure health and happiness for you and for society. Maybe we have some people to clean for us, so that we can do easily. Number 5, do not throw coins when beggars stretch their hands for alms. Help them to become self-reliant. Provide food and shelter, love and care for the sick and the aged. Number 6, do not tempt others by offering bribes or demean yourself by accepting bribes. Well, some businessmen here will know what that means. So get several things to go through. You have to, whether you call it gratis or kick back or kick front. Number 7, do not develop jealousy, hatred, or envy on any account. Very difficult. Inside Swami's room, Swami materializing ring for the wife the husband wants. Inside Swami's room, not outside. So how are you going to tackle that area? Do not develop jealousy, hatred, or envy on any count. So I leave you all to think about this, how you can cut that from your system. Number 8, do not depend on others to serve your personal needs. Become your own servant before proceeding to serve others. Well, some of the rich ones, sometimes they're too big enough, they cannot go down to do certain things anymore. So the big ones should always think that those poor also will still come someday to become big. Number 9, observe the laws of the state and the exemplary citizen, and be an exemplary citizen. Adore God. Number 10, and abhor sin. That's all. That's all Swami requires from us. But I'm so sure that has been the problem between we and Swami, that we have not been so close. We will sit down and pray, chant mantras and mantras and mantras. If any of this is missing, it's a time wasting. Time wasting. Here, this is the charter of the organization. I am sure if we ask even leaders, chairman of centers, to recite this 9-something, some of them doesn't know what it says. They have to look at the book. Well, with due respect to those who are so sure they're going to do it, but we are very, very certain some of them doesn't. Knowing these things does not indicate that they do them. Charter is asking us to pray every day. Is Swami asking too much by asking you to pray every day in your house? That you have to participate in the community program? That you have to attend, at least if possible, the bhajan once a month? Though I know that is our favorite, so everybody goes to bhajan classes. Now, regular study of Sai literature. Speak softly with everyone. Do not indulge in talking ill of others, especially in their absence. Putting into practice sealing on desires. That's all he wants from us. And these things, they are very, very difficult to carry out. So maybe tonight when you go through it, you're going to talk between you and Swami to assist us. Which one are we going to take one by one? And then we can, at the end of the week or at the end of the month, see how far we are able to move. If we cannot do any of these things, not any, all of these things perfectly well, we can chant mantra, we can pray, we can do certain rituals. It's not going to be the same. That I can assure you. He's asking us to pray regularly. Wake up in the morning and pray. It's difficult. Again, that 1991, I remember Swami telling us in the sitting room in Whitefield. He said, if we want to drive a car, people want to drive a car, they put the key there and start. They start to concentrate, drive. They don't want to hit anybody on the road. They concentrate. Their minds, everything is on the wheel. If they want to write letters, the mind is there, they go down, start writing letters. If you want to pray to Swami, the moment you kneel down, the monkey mind will catch on you. Swami said this himself. That is the time you now start to think my child, my work, my business, my money, my bank, my everything. That is not easy for us to pray. He knows this. So this is why we've been saying do this, practice that, so that we will be used to, this will be part and parcel of our system. If you ordinarily writing down the name of the Lord is to make us, to find it, make it convenient for us that at least our thinking, thoughts should be on paper that we are thinking about the Lord. Chanting the name, I'm very, very sure, if you chant only 200-300, you want to have a rest. So you write it down. Some people will write to up to 500 before they stop and take it further again. We all will know how long you can write before you stop. But if you are on the wheel now, you want to drive 5 hours, we're ready to drive 5 hours to our destination without any looking back. If they ask you to come back again, you're ready to come. Sit down and sing bhajans, you're ready to sing. But sit down 1 hour to pray to the Lord, you will never pray 20 minutes. Because that time the mind will be going here and there. So why are we having problems to communicate with God? All these we have to examine. And the only way to conquer these things is to, number one, assume we are coming into the system fresh and go through these teachings one by one. Apparently, the bulk of the teachings, that is the law of peace, truth, right conduct, and nonviolence, Balvika, CHV, everybody, they preach that. You don't need to go through the 5. You only need 1. Once you can do 1, the remaining 4 will meet you there. You don't need to do 5. So maybe you and me will decide tonight that at least out of that 5, I want to do 1. I'm going to do 1 from today. and let us see how long it's going to take us to be able to master the whole 5. He gave that system, that program, to us in a way that is going to be easy for us to interact, to do things. Because try and speak the truth, irrespective of whoever is involved. And it's still difficult for us to say truth. If it is for A, we can speak truth. If it is for B, then the teachers have certain, the EHV teachers, they have what they call the English meaning of truth. We have positive truth and the relative truth. They don't say the relative is lying, but they call it relative truth. So they will hide under those corners. Whereas truth is truth. It doesn't change. Love, oh yes, my father, my wife, my parents, we love. But the next neighbor, the love has a limit. We are ready to love Swami in Puttapati because we know we want a lot of things from him. Swami inside our neighbor, the next person living with you, we don't love that person because we believe Swami will never be inside that person. So which of the values, which EHV are we teaching? Which one are we talking about? So we have to decide one, take one out of the 5. Try it for only 4 weeks. The remaining will meet you there. It's so easy. But when I use the word easy, maybe because we have been flogged to some extent, so we have no choice to go through it. When I use the word flog, somebody was asking me this afternoon that at any given time, have you been rebuked by Swami? Swami angry with you? I said, ha, 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 ha. Yes. Don't talk about this. Number one, what we regard as Swami being angry with us. Angry is easy for somebody to say, oh, why do you do this? Don't do like that. Sometimes he does that. But the worst one is Swami putting us on the grinding machine. We call it grinding machine. You are sitting like this, and Swami will be talking to this man, talking to this, talking to that one at the back, and leaving you. How are you going to feel? How are you going to feel? Is in your front. He's talking to this guy, talking to that one, this one, and the person in your front, leaving you alone for weeks. How are you going to feel? That is more of a whipping than talking to you. So that was why I use the word that going close, the more you go closer, the more it's going to be difficult for you unless you are ready to follow the teachings. If you are not ready to follow the teachings, don't go close. He will not see you very near, and you are not part of the people who can really deliver the goods. No, it's a waster. No. He will just ignore you. He will just go by your side and go away. So we should be prepared to follow his teachings. Number 2, Swami's superhuman aspect. Please don't bother. Don't bother yourself to understand Swami. You cannot understand Swami. Oh, Swami is this, Swami is that. Swami. To you, Swami is that. It could be something different to this guy. It could be another thing to this person. So you are just saying things the way you perceive it as he moves to you. But that Swami is the same or will remain the same. Swami has no secretary. He doesn't wear wristwatch. And if he tells us he's coming to give this course at 4, at the dot of 4, he's there. Swami doesn't have to tell somebody, you go and do this for me. No. If you are lucky to be asked to do certain things, he's just saying this to you to make you happy. To let you feel you are part of his system. Otherwise, the perfection he wants. Are we so perfect to give that to him? Of course no. Therefore, he doesn't rely on us to do his things because you are not up to that task. So the superhuman aspect of Swami. Oh, some people, when they want to go to trance, They want to do many, many things, to talk to Swami at a higher level. Well, as far as the Sai organization is concerned and the Swami that I know, he does not permit this. Swami said several times that if you allow one trance, this trance is genuine. For every one genuine trance, you will see 100 fake. Therefore, forget about it. I've heard this from the Lord. People will come, yes, I meditated, I went up, me and Krishna, me and Ganesh. These are all your own problems, not with the Lord. If that is what you choose, it's a different type of life you are living. That you want to talk with Swami at a certain level, that's a different thing entirely. It's not part of the system here. Don't bother your head to understand Swami. You cannot understand Swami. He can change anytime. Try and understand his teachings. Whatever he says, let us do. That we are convinced at least what he says to us, we've been doing. You are sure, yes, I do it. Then you look for response. Because certain people in the past, they've been so sure of themselves that they challenge Swami. Sure in the sense that, the Lord, I've been doing everything the way you wanted me to do. Why don't you come to me? Certain people have been saying that, and he responded to them. Several people. He might not do exactly what they really wanted from him, but at least he will show that, yes, I'm still with you. But those guys will be so sure, they are very, very, to the best of their knowledge, they've been able to do their own part of the deal. I mentioned this morning that if you give, where would the take be? The life is give and take. If it is give without taking, there will be problem somewhere. If it is take without giving, there will be problem somewhere. So do we want, you want to make Swami a sort of just take, you are not ready to give. He wants something from us. He doesn't want money. He doesn't want, he's ready, he knows who is going to call for money. So don't bother your head. He will call you for money. Money, everything Swami says is here. As I told you, I have been in the room with Swami on occasions where Swami does like this, dollars. United States dollars. Like this, lira, Italian lira, rupees. So everything is there. So he's not asking money or anything from us. All that he's asking is these teachings that the neighbor, the people you interact with, should see the God in you. And those people should come and ask you, what type of person are you? What type of religion is your religion? That they can see divinity very glaringly in you. Then you've done exactly what the Lord wanted. That was what brought that question originally, that tell me the difference between devotees of past avatars and devotee of the present avatar. How can they differentiate you? They should know devotees of Swami, of Satya Sai Baba. People should know by their actions. Those avatars who are not available, you cannot go to them. You can go to him in Puttapati. If at all you don't want to pray or do anything, you can still go there. It's there for you. Then people should see the difference in you to those who believe in those they cannot go to. That is what he requires from us. And once we can differentiate between the concept of being our father and mother, or brother or sister, from that area of we trying to understand him, because understanding takes a different system entirely. When we all come into the fold, he brings us into the fold. Some of us, instead of going through the natural things he prescribes, we want to go rise high, elevate ourselves. This elevation, maybe we are not lucky to have right people to teach us. Number one, the spiritual sadhana is being stipulated for you what to do, how to do them. They are there in the papers. But unfortunately, when we give circulars out, or papers out, or guidelines out, recently we decided that we will ask the leaders first to read this before distributing to the devotees. Because when they give to devotees, you can be sure some are going to the dust baskets. Some will say, no, we didn't hear about this. We don't know about this, but it's been given to you before. We know all this. Some of us, we're going to put a party. We fathers. Why we're going to put a party is because my daughter wants to get married. So, Swami, how are you going to help me? My daughter or my boy needs a wife. How are you going to give a wife? One question. Do you think you deserve what you are asking? If they give this to you, would you keep the way you wanted? All this you didn't ask yourself. All you want is you are there. With due respect to my Asian brothers, that is the Indian brothers and sisters, 80% of us, when we leave America, for instance, we go to India to see Baba. Apart from going to see our families, we still go to all these gurus, and go to Swami last. So how then do you want to equate what position is Swami? Sai Baba, what position does he take in your level? All the other gurus, you've been with them, you didn't quarrel with them, but the moment you put a party, he didn't give you an interview, you will leave for the party in a disturbed mind. Swami, why should you do this? The guru you've been to, maybe by custom, by culture, has been your leader, the person who shows you the way. But you can differentiate now between a teacher, the headmaster, and the principal. There should be, you can differentiate who is superior. Swami often tells us when problem comes, Swami is wrong to devotees. Swami, why do you allow this to happen to me? That's the question. We blame him for many of our problems. Why do you allow this to happen to me? After all, I've been with Swami for the last 10 years. Why does he allow this to happen? Other gurus, we don't even bother to ask them. And unfortunately, some of us, let me put it this way, how do I get it? The Westerners will follow your steps. 99% of all the Bhajan centers worldwide, they are started by our Asian brothers and sisters. We follow you. So if you keep that type of perspective, what type of training are you giving us? On several occasions in Puttapati, Swami, during the bad day, once he will call foreigners. And a lot of Indians will be there, they want sari. Swami will look, you foreigner? Now, because you live in Western countries, to some extent, some of you are foreigners, put it that way, but you know yourself, down in your heart of heart, you are not a foreigner. You have a home there, you have a family there, you have a link to that place. It might be a long link, but the link is there. Even before Swami there, he called foreigner because you have been in America for 30 years. Now, you didn't change your name to Clinton or whatever. Your name is still your name. Now you still regard yourself as a foreigner. These are misconceptions which, when he looks at us, he starts just laughing. Sometimes we will send them back. Some of the women, don't go back. You foreigner? No, go back. So most of these things, they look small. But if we cannot practice something truthful to the letter, what do we want to get? We'll get zero. So we should try and understand that what he prescribes for us, we have to do. Rituals is very, very secondary. Very, very secondary. Rituals in the sense that you want to do certain prayers, certain puja, lakshatin, whatever. You're free to do all these things if you understand them. That's another problem. If you don't understand them, please don't do it. It's like coming here, I was a bit impressed when I saw you not waving the arty light. That's very good. Because that has been problems all over the world. Shall we wave arty? There are so many centers that prescribe for even Indian ladies to come to bhajans, they must wear white, which is against their tradition. Centers prescribe that for Indian ladies, they must be all in white. Even those, widows, they prescribe everything for them. Swami doesn't need all these things. He needs the heart, not the dress. Swami wears only this, that's all. Not big robes, no. So why do we, if we don't understand certain things, why do we go into it? Swami said several times, if you don't understand the arti, don't do it. So I was happy, impressed when I saw that you didn't do arti here, because I know few people will understand, but because of the few and the majority, which one is good? You help the majority. You don't have to use the few to lord the majority. Certain things here we do, like rituals, except for the fact that the Lord is ready to tell you call him Christ, call him Muhammad, call him Krishna, is ready to bear that name. He's everything. And for all the occasions, he's there to perform those occasions. Shivaratri is there, Krishna Jayant is there, name it. The same thing, Christmas time, go there for the overseas devotees is like Christ to everybody. So where do we have to be so rigid in our centers not to transform ourselves to reflect that universality? It's not rigid. Swami is not rigid. So where do we have the rigidity that we have to do this, fix, we must do this? So this is like we are, instead of going through the right path, we are deceiving ourselves, either knowingly or unknowingly. But if it is unknowingly, well, it is easy. We can teach people who really wants to learn. It's like somebody who pretends to be sleeping. You cannot wake him up. But if he's actually sleeping, it's easy for you to wake him up. So if it is knowingly you are doing it, sorry. But if it is unknowingly, oh yes, we have, this is our duty, what we are supposed to do. Now, I've told you about the two faces of Swami and the value. Now, the practical approach is the spiritual sadhana first. That is what is required of us. How do we awaken the God in us? That God is in every human being. I want to explain that aspect of God. Let me say the Christ way, the Western way. Let me put it the Western way. When a woman wants to have a baby, between the woman and the baby during the delivery time, they have a cord. At that time, if the cord is not properly taken care of and caught in the right position, it could lead to the death of that lady, or the woman, or even the child. But if it is properly taken care of, the moment that cord is cut into two, that woman is independent of that child. The spiritual being of that child is now separate with that biblical cord. There's nowhere in the world that they don't have child like this. That in America, women have children through the other route, or in India, it is through the other. This is what we regarded in the Western area as called soul, the Atma. It is from that moment you are cut away from your mother to have your own soul separate. And that is the God inside you. Anywhere in the world when anybody dies, you want to bury, the normal prayer is to pray that may his or her soul rest in perfect peace. Not that body, that soul. That soul is the link, spiritual link of our body to the Lord. And everybody has this. So first thing is to awaken the Lord inside us. To realize that the same thing that happens to me can happen to you. Spiritual exercise without a purpose. You must have a purpose of doing this. It's like somebody who feels he's a bit overweight and is going to jog or he wants to reduce. You must have a purpose for doing spiritual exercise. To make it easy for Westerners or whatever you regarded them to be, this is why the Lord decided that you do service. If you are not in that mood of sitting down and pray and pray and pray and pray, you can pray through service. You can help. But it has to be a selfless service. Service without looking for reward. And this service is such a service that if you are given the opportunity to serve, that service is to help you yourself, either to grow up, eradicate, reduce maybe your punishment or whatever. Not the concept of if we serve now, I am serving because of Swami. I have done this because of Swami. Swami, I have done this service. So what are you going to do for me in return? No, not that type of service. There are devotees here. They are ready to go to Puta Party and serve. Days, if they are given the chance. But in America here, they should call them to come and serve. No. The schedule is too tight. So which is the selfless service? That one you want to give in Puta Party or the one you want to give here? So if you cannot do your spiritual sadhana properly, at least develop yourself and your mind. You go into service. We must be able to do either of these two to go closer to the Lord. Otherwise, there will be the communication gap will not go close. It will be there, but you need to pull the strings together. Whatever you do in service is for your own good. Maybe we've had people praying, please Swami, help me, give me about $20,000 so I can be able to help this man. People pray like that. Swami, if you help me, I will help my child. Or I will help my brother. Swami can help your brother directly without you. If Swami gives you 20,000, which you pray for, would you give your brother 10,000? Because that moment you have the 20,000, now you start to think about that, your brother. 1,000 should be enough. All these things he knows because he can read inside our hearts. He knows what we are planning, what we are thinking of, and what we are capable of doing. This thing looks so small, but these are the little things that adds more to the barrier between the Lord and ourselves. If you are given little things, you cannot handle it properly. If you are given a very bigger thing, what are you going to do? I don't know what the time man is talking to me. The time is almost coming to the end. 10 minutes, I see. So we want to think of the merits and the demerits of our actions, of whatever we think of, or whatever we're going to say. This is very important. Before you can say to the Lord, do this for me, be sure that you are asking for what you think you deserve. I told you this morning, our needs, what is normally required, like food, like drinks, like clothes, He will give us. You don't need to pray for that. But extras, you want to work hard to earn the Lord's grace. That is His grace. Now He gives that to people that deserves that. I ask you about your child. If your child has not been coming to the shop to help you, to assist you or whatever, if he asked you for something, would you give? Of course you won't give. If you want to give, you scold him and make sure that next time you do that, I'm not going to give you. So you should expect Swami also to do the same thing for us, which he's doing. Oh, compassionate, con this, con that, we say that. Yes, we know, but what about our own side of the game? Swami must do this, is everything. What about you? So please, brothers and sisters, if I have to talk too much or put it the spiritual way, we might not understand. This is why I decided to go so low down, in the sense that do your spiritual sadhana properly. We have the guidelines. If you don't have it, I will make sure Dr. Harvey will provide this to all the chairmen of the centers, what is expected of you, how you should do it. You do your meditation. Don't sit down for meditation and just looking at the life for nothing. Your mind is somewhere. You won't get good results. Don't start saying things that you don't understand. Then you are communicating to the Lord in a different language. He doesn't hear what you are saying. So how is he going to respond? If it's difficult for you to go through that process, go to the process of service. And don't forget the 5 values. Today you have to decide that which of the values I can conveniently adopt, and see how long you can cope without breaking that rules. They're going to give you these cards, I said earlier, to see those very simple things. But I'm sure out of these 10, even me, I can tell you probably I will have 7 out of 10. So we might have 2 or 3 people that will have 10 here, not more than that. That is 10 out of 10 here. They look very simple, but it's not easy to do. They are not very, very easy to go through. So don't think of you want to elevate yourself, invoke spirit, talk to Swami at the higher level, you want things quick, you want magic, you want this. No. Go through the normal process. In no time, you will be there. What you're looking for, you're going to get it. So let us take the questions now, so that we don't go over your time.
Speak into the mic.
I'm again asking you the question, but this time, you mentioned that I'm proud of being Indian, and I have deep roots in India. But then when I went to Puttaparthi, I have to identify myself as a foreigner, because Baba announced that he's going to have a special conference for the foreigners. And then I had to show my passport to go in that room. If I would have said, hey, I'm Indian, I'll sit aside, I wouldn't have the privilege to hear Baba. So what do you think at that time I should have done? No, I'm Indian. I have to say that I am from America. I have to show, told me show us the passport. I have to show them the US passport, and that's how they let me come in, and I was so lucky to hear him straight. So in that case, I shouldn't say that I am not an Indian. I'm proud to be an Indian. The only thing is, to see and hear Baba, I have to say that I am from foreign.
That's very good. Number one, I will be very grateful tonight if we're going to have more questions from our mother's side, from the women's side. Now, to answer your question or your comment, I said earlier about truth being relative and positive. In Sai organization, we have two Sai organizations. Two Sri Satya Sai organizations. One is All India Sai organization. They operate separately. The same rule, but because they are based there, they operate differently to suit the local condition. The other side is called All Overseas Sai organization. So when they use the word foreigners, they use this like an Indian concept of English which they imbibed from the British colonial masters as somebody from a foreign land. But somebody with Indian origin, Indian-based everything, we don't call such people foreigners. But you are classified as somebody from overseas Sai organization, that is overseas countries. Anything outside India, they are all overseas. Those are the people that Swami wanted to give the conference we are talking about. No, really, when we say foreigners, everybody in India regards who is not India as a foreigner. You understand? But we call them all overseas. So if you show passport indicates that some of the locals from All India Sai organization, they might want to come in. So to prevent that, because they have the membership is about almost 6 times of our membership. That is All India Sai organization, very, very big. So this is what happens, that we regarded overseas separate from All India. Next question. Let's see. Please, mothers, you should be free to ask this question so that you don't disturb your husbands when you get home, that you don't hear things. Please, be free to ask this question.
You talked about service, and you say that if a person can't go into the things like a deep meditation and all of that, then you can go into service. And I would assume that you meant that it would be just as effective to serve selfless service. But I've often wondered, now since you talked about service, I've seen people that do a lot of service outside of the home, selfless service. But once they get in their family situation, to do nothing. So what effect does this have? Does this selfless service take him a long way and do nothing at home? Or I've seen people that work every time you call them, they're ready to jump in and help others, except at home. So how does that affect? What do you have to say about that? No, it's not a personal experience.
Well, I hope you are not going to let us draw Dr. Harvey out to come and answer certain questions. Because certain things that happens here, well, it happens in other places. When you talk of somebody doing service privately, a lot of us want to do service because we don't want anybody to bug us or give us rule, give us this. So I want to do what I want and leave the place. But it is stated here that you have to participate in the community service. No matter what is your ego, what is your money, what is your wealth, you should go down when you want to give the service. Whatever they do at the center. I mentioned earlier, Dr. Harvey is listening. He will tell the chairman when they meet that the centers should try and be flexible so that the politics in human being will not go up to scare some of us away. But if you have to be part of this organization, it's stated here, you have to be part of the do community service that is within the organization. What that means is like this. Some people, they are very, very rich. Okay, you want to serve. Take 20,000, go and serve. You are not doing any service. When Swami wants to feed, even in Puta Party, Swami starts first, giving food. So if you want to send your money on errand, it's quite different from giving service. Because certain people are ready to give money, and they have no time. You grade this service, or they feel too big. These are the small people going to do this service. I don't want to mix with them. I don't know those reasons, but I know in certain areas they have some petty problems. But we reckon these to be part of ego, and certain things we have to get down. When we say selfless service, things you do on your own, why is it difficult for you to do it with the community? For instance, I told you earlier that we have at least half of devotees of Swami not members of this organization. They go to Swami and Swami says to them, don't worry to be in the organization, stay where you are. Because when they get somewhere, the politics might be too much for them. They don't want to be involved because they want a lot. They want a different thing in their life. They don't want to be involved again. I told you this morning, maybe you are not here. The sprinters, the marathon runners, and the running backward group. Those who comes to Sai organization, and the moment they come here, they are worse off than coming here in the first instance. They create more enemies here. Because what they've come here for, they've forgotten completely. They're now thriving on petty issues. Here, if we say Sairam, ask some devotees. They will tell you Sairam means a lot of things to them. If somebody is quarreling, you say Sairam to him, he's still not ready to listen to you. So such person, you just ignore him, you don't want to fraternize with him. Again, you are committing a crime. Because how are you going to help him if you want to run away from him? Devotees will call devotees for bhajans. I don't know much about in America, but in certain countries I've seen this. They will unpick people. This group of people can come for bhajans in my house. Not everybody. Swami, to some devotees, I can worship with Swami with certain group, not with this certain group. So all these actions, some of us might not be able to stick it. Therefore, they move back. Some are lucky, the Lord, they come through to the Lord, and the Lord says, don't worry, stay where you are. So I'm sure if the chairman, the central coordinator looks into that, he will see certain centers that needs to be talked to be flexible, so that all the people should be able to do community service together. We might not get 100% straight away, but at least we should try to aspire to correct some of the wrongs. Correcting wrongs should be our basic idea. If that guy is wrong, 2 wrongs will never make a right. So you don't have to do wrong again to get things right. You have to be able to absorb that so that you can change the wrong in that person. Those are the areas where we get ourselves into a situation where we don't want to participate within ourselves. Next question.
You mentioned about a business background of yours, and also you hinted at some of the problems that businessmen may have to come across, corruption and things like that. Did you find that after you became a devotee, you were able to apply different principles and able to tackle those situations, and what was your success in those areas?
I told you when I opened this paper that out of these 10, I can say to myself, I will pass 7. So 3, I'm still not there. Like that of business here that says don't give bribes, like when you say corruption. In certain areas, you don't give something, you're not going to get anything. though the Lord doesn't allow this, Bhagwan doesn't want to hear this. But how are we going to do? What are we going to do? When you still come back, he still reminds you, scold you, because some of these things he knows. Especially that one of offering bribes. He knows that why are you bothered? The business is not yours. I am the one looking after the business. Why are you worried? The only thing you do is that to some extent, you start to reduce, or you don't operate in certain areas where you need to go into good, big corruption. As I've said, when you are given this thing tonight, you go within yourself and ask yourself. Nobody's going to ask you, how many out of these 10 can I do? You don't need to do, you might even not do one, but develop that attitude that, yes, I will try today to go on to this. Because we have to start somewhere. We are not saints. Bhagwan knows we are not saints. But for all intent and purposes, if you are learning, you must show certain things that you've been learning, you've been taught. Put it into practice. Therefore, no matter how bad you are, when you are coming to Swami, the first job is transforming you to what he wants you to be. But when we are not ready for that transformation, all we want is just gift. We want rings, we want wife, we want daughter, we want all other things. Transformation is ready to do. We are not ready for it. So do this within your household. Don't tell anybody. Just ask yourself. It's going to help a lot. We finish? Thank you very much.